Hey everyone, and welcome to PGN Live. It is a new week, Monday, February 23rd, 2026. Let's go. Welcome. Out of nowhere, Nintendo just doing Nintendo things, dropping brand new information on their social media platforms today, saying that tomorrow will be a Nintendo Treehouse. We haven't had one in a while, so that's kind of cool that we're getting one. It's specifically going to be about Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, plus Meetup in Bellabelle Park, and Pokemon Pokopia. So that's pretty cool. One will be a brand new game, and of course, the other is a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of a popular multi-million selling Nintendo Switch title that'll get an upgrade, new content, and so forth, which is pretty nice. I hope y'all had a good weekend. I'm about to get the pop-out chat ready to roll, and I see some people are already in here. Let me give me a moment so I could properly welcome you all. Also, some of you might have noticed over the weekend, I put up a couple of updates regarding our community support. We hit an all-time high over the weekend. It's now at 545, but over the weekend we had hit an all-time high of 555 total members. We're at 545 right now. I'm playing it a little bit safer. Not that anybody ever has to donate anything, but if you choose to today, probably, straight up super chat is a little bit safer route to go. But I still have the opportunity to gift memberships. It's just I put it to the brown belt tier because I figure I'm gonna wait a little bit of time to go by to hopefully get some more people in here that have their ability to receive gifted memberships turned on, because we did get to a point where last Friday we had some gifted memberships and we reached a cap. We reached a cap of people despite having 8,600 total subscribers. Evidently, 555 people. That's how many this channel exactly had the ability to receive a membership turned on. You know what I mean? So I figure, well, we're at 545 now, so I know I could handle at least 10 more, but maybe I'll just stick it to brown belt. There will be fewer in the coming days, but still give the opportunity for people if they want to gift to others, they can. If they want to do super chat, they can. Of course, nothing is needed or asked, or people could just subscribe themselves. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I really appreciate it. We got to a 555. That's awesome. The base being 500 would be excellent, but we'll see how momentum lasts. What kind of momentum we have. All right, in the chat. Let's do this. Ash Gaming 17 first in the chat to say hi. Let's do this. Hi Ash, welcome. Thank you, and thank you for sharing the stream on Twitter. Actually, Ash, I could do this live right now. Here we go. This is some picture-in-picture stuff. Ash is right here. Big thank you, Ash. I appreciate it. And you know what? We're gonna go to. Let's see. Can we go to Ash's YouTube channel? I'm gonna open up Ash's YouTube channel. But first, let's just see who else is here. Crazy Scott is here. Howdy. Michael S. Gutmann is here. Hello. Oh, Michael S. Gutmann also showing off that James Bond 007 badge next to his name. That's a nice one. That's a 6-monther right there. Congratulations on being a PGN white belt for 6 months. Crazy Scott dropping the nice Mario emoji. Mario Sonic Bread with a nice triple emoji drop of Mario, Beautiful Joe, and Ryu from Street Fighter. Yvonne Francois. Hello, welcome. Um, saying hi, everyone. Michael S. Gutman, congrats on the eShop card to Crazy Scott. Cool, cool. Corey Boehm kicking things off with a $5 super chat. Heck yeah. Big thank you. Bright and early into the stream. We've got 5 up in here. Corey Boehm with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. That's awesome to see. Out of nowhere. I am grateful for that, Corey. Let's see. What did you say? Have you joined the hashtag June Direct bandwagon yet? I think there will be one, but I am still on hashtag before April 30th June Direct, you know? I still think that we'll get one, a general one, before April 30th. I don't think Nintendo will wait all the way to June to have one, but I also don't think it will be horrible if they do because, gosh, they had a general. They had a partner. They've got Mario Day coming up. They've got a Pokemon Presents this Friday, which is super cool. They had the Super Mario Galaxy movie direct. Lego Pokemon here. Pokopia coming there. Mario Tennis Fever drop over here. Resident Evil 9 coming out this week. Kicked off the year with Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade and then Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Ocarina of Time Lego set fully unveiled. There's a lot, there's a lot of fun there. From announcements to actual games being out to even a freaking, direct of sorts. The partner direct. You can't deny that. If we just get Mario Day, then the upcoming Mario movie, and that's the stuff to last us in March and April, respectively, and then maybe they just shadow drop the Duskbloods out of nowhere, which I think they would have a lead up to it. Maybe Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is a May release, and then we only get like 6 weeks notice. It's just an announcement. And then June is the direct. That wouldn't be that bad, but I still think they'll have one by April 30th. It honestly bodes better to have one in March than April, because then you could conceivably think, we'll get one in March and June, or March and July, right? If they wait all the way to like April 28th, what's the likelihood of there being another one in June? I think it goes down. So we'll see. I still think we'll get one in the spring, pre-summer. How about you, Corey? What do you think? What do you all think, for that matter? Interested. JM Powers 83 saying, hello, Paul and everyone else. I'm typing this on my phone right now. I have to get my computer. It's on the other side of the room. Cool. Steak 1024. Paul, did you see a UK theater chain revealed Wario in the Super Mario Galaxy movie was in their summary/description? No. Spoiler. No, I am trying not to get spoiled as much as possible from the movie. RNG630 says you think it'll be in March. Artisan James saying, I'll watch the Treehouse, but unfortunately I'll be passing on both Pokopia and Wonder Switch 2 edition. I just have no interest. I would have preferred Wonder to have new worlds and single player content. Yeah, brand new worlds, new world or two. Like here's 8 to 16 new new 2D side scrolling zones that you could enjoy solo or with friends instead of, this Bella Bella Park meetup kind of thing. Would be good. I think it's a good time, though. If you didn't buy the game, might as well now, right? You're getting that game with improved resolution and loading times and new content. And I guess even if you don't subscribe to the new content, you're still getting the base game at a higher level, which is cool. Pokopia, Pokemon. I wonder how big it'll be, I wonder if this is going to be like a, 2 to 4 million seller, Pokken tournament style, new Pokemon Snap style, or if we're looking at like a 10 to 15 million seller, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Legends ZA. I don't know if we should expect it to be this 25-30 million seller. Like a mainline Pokemon. I don't think so. We'll see. I honestly don't know what first party game I'm going to purchase next. I'm not yet sold on Yoshi at 70. Splatoon Raiders remains a mystery, and I'm not that big into Fire Emblem. Probably there'll be some surprise, right? Maybe that Fire Emblem will pique your interest when you see more of it. Like, whoa. If you count the Duskbloods as a first party game because it's being published by Nintendo, maybe that one will do it for you. Perhaps if Yoshi doesn't click well for you at 70, there's enough there that you're like, oh, I would buy it on sale. Or maybe it will be just amazing. Hard to say. I'm looking forward to Yoshi, but I do want to see more on it. Michael S. Gutman is looking forward to Tamagotchi Life. Cool. Yeah, Tamagotchi Life and Pokemon Pokopia. They both should be pretty good selling games. Jacob, Nintendo is literally doing anything but a direct. I mean, they had the Super Mario Galaxy movie direct. They had the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. But no pure general direct, I guess, Corey Bone saying, PGN, what do I want? Or what do I want? A direct a month. Yeah, that would be good. I truly think, though, we don't see a general direct or any new games announced until June. 4 months without any new game announced? So that means that you think it's possible that, like, Splatoon Raiders gets an update, Duskbloods gets an update, Professor Layton and that new title, or Yoshi the Mysterious Book get new updates, but not anything new shown from Nintendo, correct? Like, they're not going to use the next 4 months to reveal anything new. It's a possibility. I think if they don't show off anything new in the next 4 months, but one of those games like Yoshi and the Mysterious Book or the Duskbloods end up coming out before June, that would be pretty big, and I think fewer people would care that, like, oh man, there's nothing new that they're revealing, but oh, I got a couple of these titles sooner than expected, perhaps, right? Debates between whether it's Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch Pro. Definitely a Nintendo Switch 2, because a Nintendo Switch Pro would be what, maybe a little bit of a better CPU, GPU, slightly more RAM than Nintendo Switch, but it would not be getting Resident Evil Requiem. It wouldn't be getting Street Fighter 6. You wouldn't see Mario Kart World or Donkey Kong Bonanza at this level, right? Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment and Kirby Air Riders, you wouldn't see them as exclusive for Nintendo Switch Pro. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade probably wouldn't have been able to come out on the Pro. So I very much think it is definitely Nintendo Switch 2. More of the games might seemingly be, Nintendo Switch 2 editions, but I can't take away new titles like Street Fighter 6 that needed a greater CPU and GPU, and titles like Donkey Kong Bonanza that really do shine quite a bit in a lot of areas on Nintendo Switch 2 as fresh experiences that I wouldn't have gotten probably on a Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch Pro. The Treehouse will be 80 minutes long. That's pretty beefy. In fairness, I think Wind Waker and Twilight Princess will get Switch 1, Switch 2 ports. And Skyward Sword will get a Switch 2 edition. That's pretty cool. That's good thoughts. 80 minutes for two games we already knew all the information with instead of games with nothing announced like Splatoon, Raiders, or Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. For now, I think Nintendo has given us so much that a lot of people are very expectant of new stuff to come out constantly because they did such an amazing job last generation, you know? They truly knocked it out of the park with how many games they're giving. No droughts, consistent flow of announcements. So much that, perhaps there's a certain group of folks that got spoiled, for better or worse. Not to say it's, a bad thing, condescending thing, but is it true? Yeah, maybe. Here, by the way, I'm going to put up Ash's YouTube page right there. Y'all could check out Ash. We've got the page right up here for a bit and the link in the chat. Nintex 2 Dope is here. The man who hath no ill effects of man-made units of measurement. A man of no time, eternally ever present, and in the now, never late nor early. Paul Gale Network is not of this world. Thank you, Nintex 2 Dope, and welcome to the stream. Welcome. That's a fun introduction. I appreciate it. JM Powers, you got to your computer. Cool. Corey, yes, updates on announced games and Switch 2 editions are fair games, as are Wind Waker and Twilight Princess to Switch 1 and 2. I think we'll eventually get those games. You know what I mean? Think of Nintendo as like, not just the 5-year future, but what about the next 25 years? Will they, in 15 years, have another remake or another port of Twilight Princess? At that point, will it be the second time or the third time they're doing some kind of remaster? What game will eventually get remade or remastered several times? Look at the next 50 years. Okay, if Ocarina gets remade now for the 40th anniversary, or in 2 years for that game's 30th anniversary, 50 years from now, will the game get another remake? Or 2 more remasters between now and then? You got to think of things in the next year, in the next 5 to 10, and then what are we going to be doing in 3 decades? I'm sure the whole layout isn't that laid out, 50 years from now we're releasing this. No, but you have to properly take advantage of the now, but not overdo too much to not give yourself anything then. You're going to want to always have something to pull from that's a relatively easy port, remaster, remake, etc., while it does take increasingly longer and longer to develop new stuff. You know what I'm saying? Roger, and you're showing off that green membership, PGN Brown Belt. 6 months with that new James Bond 007 badge next to his name. Told you. Pretty cool thing is, some of you have been members now for 6 months. That's the longest badge you could have next to your name is the 6-month badge. So we're starting to see more and more people have that 6-monther. Well, look at that, Roger says. Half a year already. Seems like it's been way longer. Let's keep the good times rolling, Paul Gale Network. Indeed. Kind of a wild half a year, right? 6 months have just flown by. Thank you, Roger, for being here. Roger, by the way, I see on my end that refund went in effect. You got it, didn't you? I'm just verifying on your end. You got the refund? I hope so. You should have. Or you will very soon. But from, I guess, Friday's stream? Probably. And on my end, that's what it showed up as. Unfortunately, it didn't go through, but, as long as you got your refund, that's it. That's what's important. In the time being, I have the memberships a little bit different. Maybe we get them. Maybe we get Super Chaps instead. Maybe neither, but, Yeah, it's a little bit different for time. We did hit 555 members though. Now we're at 545, but still awesome. It looks like 555 truly was the absolute limit because it didn't go one over, you know? But now I know it could at least go 10 more. Not that I'm expecting it necessarily, but here's the thing. With new subscribers, there's got to be a small fraction of those subscribers that have their things turned on, right? We'll see. Paul wasn't trying to spoil anything, but no, there were people that thought there was Wario in the Rosalina trailer. Now, what I want to know is, well, I don't want to know yet, Steak, is Fox McCloud indeed in it? You've got people on Team Fox McCloud and folks on, no, that's just the motorbike of Luigi's, or that's just Toad's backpack. I don't know, dang it. This looks a lot like an upper vest. This looks like a green arm folded across a chest. This looks like a blaster to the side of a hip. I don't know. Michael S. Gutmann. Well, they did just launch a console. We should expect big games. Yeah. Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Kirby Air Riders, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, Resident Evil Requiem, Street Fighter 6. Big games within the first 8 months, both from Nintendo and third parties. And, you know, Nintendo Switch 2 editions of Ruffy and the Riverside, of Hades 2, of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, WWE 2K25, Madden NFL 26. Like, a lot of games for a lot of different types of players. Big stuff in the first 8 months. I mean, really impressive piece of hardware. In my opinion, like, I can't complain with my Nintendo Switch 2. I don't know. Like, I love it. That and the fact that so many things run better, and things such as, you know, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom looking considerably better for new people. And even if you're like, well, I'm not a new person, though, I played those. Well, still, you know, the new stuff in Resident Evil and Street Fighter 6, well, even though Street Fighter 6 is a couple of years old, to be fair. But Donkey Kong Bonanza, like, there's no shortage of fun. Hades, too. I already said that one. I'm repeating some of my top games off the top of my head. You know, Fast Fusion. You could also throw in there. Amazing game. But, yeah, there's some real gems already. I think by the time the system hits a year, you'll look at the first year and think, okay, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, okay, Kirby Air Riders, all right, Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined, okay, how many of these are exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2? How many of these perform better on NS2 than Nintendo Switch? How many are older multi-platform ports? And how many of them are brand new day and date multi-platform titles? And I think by the time like June 30th comes, pretty much the year mark, we'll look back and say, dang, that was a pretty darn successful, healthy first year. You know, we've got the month of April and May and March. So a full 3 months and 5 days left of this month and 5 days of June. So we've got like 3 months and 10 days till the 1 year mark. And I guess you could give it till June 30th. If something comes out June 10th or whatever, June 18th, I'll still consider that within the first year. Yeah. I don't know. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Hard to complain, in my opinion, of the console's first several months. We are 3 days away from the first pitch of the first game of the first season of the Banana Ball Championship League. Cool. Yeah, now almost a whole year later, Mario Kart and Donkey Kong are still the only two major Switch 2 exclusives carrying the console on its back, which is just crazy and sad compared to Switch 1 gen. I mean, I disagree, personally, because I think that even though Metroid Prime 4 Beyond isn't an exclusive, it might as well be. It's the leading SKU seller, and if you don't count it as an exclusive, because it technically isn't, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment is so much fun, and it is such a good game. That's an exclusive. Kirby Air Riders, might not be a 10 million seller, but it's selling several million, and it's really fun. So you've got 4 exclusives right there. Okay, not counting Pokemon Legends EA, but if you want to count another exclusive, you got to throw in Fast Fusion right out the launch. And then if you just look at the third-party support, Split Fiction was brilliant. It's a Game of the Year contender. And third-party wise, I mean, the support from Tony Hawk to Madden to WWE to Hades 2, brilliant Game of the Year contender in Hades 2, and Assassin's Creed, and Final Fantasy, and Dragon Quest, and Resident Evil Requiem, all within the first less than 10 months? Dude, that is really good. Someone will eventually stack up the first year of notable Nintendo Switch games to the first year of notable Nintendo Switch 2 games, and they're going to be relatively comparable with excellence throughout. I truly feel, because it's already solid in my opinion. Let's see. Polygon Network, you are correct. I did get it refunded back to you. Okay, I'm glad to hear that, Roger. You got your $20 back. And thank you again for trying. I appreciate it. Oh, let's see. Fallout 4 runs good. Hopefully tomorrow. It does, yes. Tabby Cat Games is here. What's up, Tabby? Good to see you. Having Hope 5, good to see you. Hello, hello. Charlie Smith, hi. Nice emoji drop there. ELP, I feel like Nintendo is missing the plot. Hopefully they have a bigger plan in mind we don't see. Not sure why 40 minutes for Wonder is needed. They're capitalizing on the anticipation for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And how do you do that? What's your most recent Mario game? Let's bring it to people's attention. Let's make it feel new again. Let's show off this Bella Bella Park stuff. Let's use it as a gateway to, here are the new amiibo coming one more time from Galaxy and from Wonder, so we could sell some more toys in stores. And yeah, sell a couple more million units, hopefully, of this game, revolving around Mario, before Mario Day, before this new Yoshi game, before the movie, all in sync with one another. Use it as a moment to talk about Fever that just released. Oh yeah, speaking of another exclusive, Fever. Yeah, there's quite a bit. Nintendo Switch 2's bigger picture is, hopefully, you would think by now, most of the fans realize, every generation, I'm going to get a Zelda 3D title, a 3D Mario. I'm going to get like a 2D Mario. I'm going to get a franchise or two from Nintendo's past, like a Kirby or a Yoshi game. But what's not a guarantee every generation is the quantity and quality of third-party support. So hopefully our Nintendo fans that have been fans of us for 40 years know we've never let them in the dark. We've never failed them on a generation without having a Mario, a Zelda, some classic title. Not a Punch-Out every gen, not a new Donkey Kong every gen, but you'll have your Mario Kart, you'll have your Smash Brothers. More often than not, you'll have your Animal Crossing. You'll get a Star Fox once in a while. You know what I mean? So, hey guys, after we gave you a beautiful generation in Nintendo Switch, you should know Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be the same. But here we're trying to show you this is also your designated third-party thing. You'll get your Final Fantasy and Street Fighter, get your Mortal Kombat and your Hades day and date. We're going to have the majority of stuff that you want to play out there from third parties and indies on this system. That's sort of what they're trying to convey, because they do know internally it is going to take longer to develop these games. Yeah, they'll have some Nintendo Switch 2 ports. The Nintendo Switch 2 ports these days are the equivalent of the games from Wii U that were brought over to buy some time in between development. But development's taking even longer now. So you got to buy more time with more third parties. But overall, that still means a greater supportive console on all aspects. So I think a little bit of patience is kind of what's needed from the fans at this point. Let's see. Good that Nintendo Treehouse is happening. Linda Ray, hello Paul and everyone. Hello Linda Ray. ELP think Nintendo isn't seeing that a lot of people don't see the value in their added DLC. They don't have a great history of that. Time will tell with how it sells. If this DLC doesn't sell, back to the drawing board. What do we do? How do we make it more compelling? If it sells, either in upgrades from people who have the Nintendo Switch version to this one, or new people that straight up buy the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, or just people that download the DLC, Bella Bella Park, time will tell. Animal Crossing, you saw, worked out very well. A lot of people were upgrading with the free stuff. A lot of people were buying the Nintendo Switch version 6 years in. A lot of people were buying the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of it. So, yeah, Nintendo's trying, that's for sure. Okay, let's see. We got different talks on, is it a robot? Is it Fox? Okay. Now I think Nintendo is prioritizing quantity over quality to have as many, even if spin-off exclusives, but I would rather prefer a quality exclusive every 3 months. I think they're focusing on quality because they're not putting out games too consistently. They know it takes longer and more resources to build 4K games. This is why they are opening up a brand new building right across from their Kyoto headquarters to be another development house to get more people in there, because game development is getting bigger and more expensive. And that's why, hey, they're still having titles, they're having collaborative efforts, Masahiro Sakurai over here handling this Kirby title. We want something Zelda related. Tecmo Koei over here with something that's Zelda related. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment within that launch window. Meanwhile, when is the next big game they're coming out with? Oh, they're going to be several months apart, but we're getting them. So I think they're focusing on quality, not quantity right now. But to satisfy people's quantity needs, that's where we're seeing an abundance of Switch 2 editions, because they are easier to do. They are more or less the equivalent of last gen's Wii U ports. Polygon Network says Tabby Cat Games, I think we need a new Star Fox. Yes. Now's the time to make a comeback. I agree. Hey, Paul. Hey, y'all working and lurking. Hey, Joycey. Prime 4, Hyrule Warriors, excellent games. Yeah. Some of you think less than excellent, 6 out of 10. Yeah, I mean, to each their own. A little bit different thoughts. But, I mean, I had a brilliant time with Metro Prime 4 Beyond. And I really had a great time with Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment 2, which I'm still working on slowly. For some reason, I don't see the Dust Blood as a spring or summer game. Yeah, that whole March 26th thing is kind of weird. But maybe, I don't know. I looked at it like as a fall title. Maybe October, capitalize on Halloween or something. But maybe it'll be a March 26th one. We'll see. Hyrule Warriors and Kirby Air Riders are surely fun, but are not generally considered major. I was referring to the major exclusives like Mario Kart, Donkey Kong. Yeah, those are definitely bigger, but I don't doubt we're going to get Smash Bros. I don't doubt we're going to get Animal Crossing, Mario, Zelda. It takes years for a full library to exist, It takes time to develop a system's entire library. I think they had a great first few months, but it's starting to look dry. I think they had a great first few months, and I still think they're having a good time. I mean, I can't complain. Last month, I picked up Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. I skipped out on Dragon Quest VII Reimagined because I wouldn't have enough time. I am this week getting Resident Evil Requiem. I am sandwiched in between two huge third-party games. One, admittedly, that I played 5 years ago, but is still a major get for the system. And one that's coming out day and date with everyone else. Like, that's a big third-party game this early on. And it's had a lot of them. Nintendo's working well with their partners. They don't want just fans to say, man, that's a good third-party machine. They want third-party developers to have a chance to thrive on the system, because When you have a big Nintendo game, and if a too big of a Nintendo game comes out too regularly, it does eat people's wallets up. More people buying a Nintendo system will flock to that big new Nintendo Mario Splatoon game once every 3 months than buying out the surrounding third party titles that come out before, during, or after that little window. And that's dangerous for third parties. Cool, now we have a system that we could finally put stuff on, but is it going to sell? Not if Nintendo releases this cadence of superiority. Sure, the fans would love to have a new big Nintendo game once every 2, 3 months, but that would be detrimental in some ways to third parties. So, what is this balance? They're working on it. They're working on it. I hope the general direct would be in the second week of March. Could be. Fever is another one where they missed the plot with adventure mode. I think they overhauled Mario Tennis install base. We'll see how the game sells overall. Hopefully more like it than not, but hard to say. The gaming base outside of Nintendo fans are going to start turning their back on anything Nintendo that isn't a first-party adventure game. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully people are enjoying the content, keeping diverse, you know. If you got nothing to play, check out the backlog. Got nothing to play some Fortnite. Try out Ghost Song. Surely there are some titles from indies that folks haven't tried out that they would enjoy. That's not made by Nintendo, you know. Ethan Kunstar is here. Let's see. Right now, like the only generally considered major games that are confirmed to come are Gen 10, Pokemon, Splatoon, Raiders. Well, we do know of the Duskbloods, which is published by Nintendo. Fire Emblem has gotten considerably bigger over the years. Will Fortune's Weave be a 15 million seller? Probably not. But is it still a big success if it sells 5 million this holiday season? Heck yeah. Unless if they put in, you know, more money, more effort, that 5 million doesn't really cover it, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Missed opportunity getting the Starlink team at Ubisoft to make a new Star Fox game. Yeah. I think as soon as they finished that game, they should have had that team work on a new Star Fox game and incorporate some land missions and stuff like that. And the trust that Nintendo had with handling Mario and Mario plus Rabbids should have gone towards, a Star Fox game. I definitely think all the major games will come. Definitely. You just beat Cyberpunk. Another good example of another big game on the system early on. Caps Paranormal's here. Hey, Paul, everyone. Been playing through Assassin's Creed Shadows on Switch 2. Looks great since the upgrade. Another good example. Another big game on the system. I'm glad you're liking it. Some of you are talking amongst each other, which is cool. Good to see some community engagement. Y'all talking to one another. I like that. Let's see. Anything new from Nintendo here? Well, again? Well, this is new. Huh. Okay. Unrelated to video games, but I was there when, well, not there. I watched it with people when Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fought. Gosh, like 2009 or 10? They're fighting again? That's a long time in between. It's like a 16, 17-year gap. Woo. I just found out about this now. That's kind of cool. That's pretty cool. Interesting. Let's see. Hopefully I didn't miss any comments. Tabby Cat Games, they're missing out if they don't have their gifting turned on. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Roger, I will double check, not an issue. I'll give it back in other ways for now. Okay, ironically I saw, your other comment that you got refunded before this comment. But good, good, good. I'm glad you got that. I'm just scrolling up. Michael S. Gubon saying Donkey Kong Bonanza is a Switch masterpiece or Switch 2 masterpiece. Yeah, it's just as good as Odyssey, I would say. I mean, I think I favor Super Mario Odyssey more than Donkey Kong Bonanza by a little bit, but they're both brilliant games. Wonderful exclusives. A good representation of, I think, what's to come from Nintendo. Imagine games a couple years in, how good they're gonna look, how big they're gonna be. Nintendo just needs time to cook. Okay. I think I'm caught up. No more old men in the boxing ring or football field, says Joycey. Michael S. Gubon playing Mario Kart twice a month. Very good. I'm glad that it's still lasting you. They most both be having hard times financially. I don't think so. I hope not, for their sake. I mean, opportunity to make hundreds of millions of dollars in your career, unless if you were very, very poor with your spending, you should be all right for life. You've reached multi-hundred millionaire status. You should be okay for for infinite amount of lives, and your kids and grandkids and the like forever to be okay. Live beneath your means, you know. Jeez, I don't know. David, after looking at the eShop coming soon, it's quite barren in May through August. Typically, a February direct would announce titles in that time region. Hopefully, we get a direct by April. But we got the partner, and we know stuff like Metal Gear Solid Collection 2 is coming out. You know, we do know that. We're getting Castlevania. We've got James Bond coming this summer. We got cool stuff. If Nintendo Switch 2 is your only platform, there are a lot of good games coming out, you know? No, this James Bond isn't made by Nintendo's second-party studio in Rare like GoldenEye 007 was back in 1997, but hey, as a new Bond, that looks like it's going to be pretty good for the console. So there might be some good sales with Bond on Nintendo with that association of the old school. We'll see. Nintex 2 Dope. I think most people's problem with Switch 2 is that they don't really play games outside of a limited few. One or two games and that's it. Expand your horizons, gamers. Play things you never try. Good point, Nintex 2 Dope. That is a good point. I guess if you only buy a Nintendo system for the key several first-party games like Mario, Zelda, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, Animal Crossing, Smash Brothers, Splatoon, Mario Maker, Luigi's Mansion, the hopeful Star Fox, the hopeful Punch-Out, and the random new thing like an ARMS or what will eventually become an old thing that's new at a time, like Pikmin, if that's just you, then yeah, the generation might be a longer time before you start really having fun. It might take you 6 years to look back and say, man, those 12 to 15 games I bought over the last 6 years, fantastic. But if you're someone who is also enjoying, you know, Kirby and enjoying Fire Emblem and Xenoblade Chronicles and Yoshi, and you didn't buy every game, so some of the games and their upgrades are kind of new, and you do enjoy some similar third-party efforts, and maybe you try out Doom or Resident Evil, or you realize, this Final Fantasy thing isn't too dissimilar from Zelda. I'll try it for the first time, and you enjoy 7 Remake Integrate. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's you. I think being diverse, though, like Nintex 2 Dope said, is important. DK Bonanza, masterpiece. Yeah, it is, Jacob. I agree. Game came out in July, which is kind of wild. 7 months old. Still selling well. Hope it continues. I mean, it's only been out for 7 months, yeah. And it's one of the best on the system. Donkey Kong Bonanza, Split Fiction, Hades 2, Metroid Prime 4, Beyond. Like all four, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment as well. Like 5 of those games were all something that I considered like a Game of the Year contender, you know? Mario Kart World Online is still great, yeah. Quick and easy knockout tour, yeah. Caps Paranormal. Let's all remember to give Paul a like. Thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it. How many likes do we have? We have 32 watching now and 25 likes, it looks like, which is pretty awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you all for keeping it high. Actually, no, we're at 36 watching, 29 likes. We're almost at 30 likes. Heck yeah. Charlie Smith, what do you think is going to happen with that Nintendo and Microsoft 10-year deal for Call of Duty now that Xbox has new management? So, if Microsoft wants to really be powerful and say, no, Minecraft 2, that's coming out just on Xbox. Outside of any commitments we have with Doom Dark Ages that we already agreed with Nintendo to stick it on Nintendo Switch 2 and Fallout and, you know, Oblivion and this and that. Indiana Jones, yep. Aside from those commitments, once they're done, Wolfenstein 3, only on Xbox. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Underground remake, only on Xbox. Crash Bandicoot 5, Xbox exclusive. Banjo-Kazooie, Xbox exclusive. A new Ori game, Xbox exclusive. The sequel to that Indiana Jones, Xbox exclusive. Yeah, we're making Perfect Dark, a new Banjo, Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Blast Corps, Battletoads, Killer Instinct. We're bringing all the rare ones back. Xbox exclusive. Bam! We're going to come out with a brand new system November 2027. We've got a load of games, Xbox exclusive, that'll still come out on Xbox Series. Eventually, some will transition to Xbox 6 or whatever you want to call it, only games. But we do have this 10-year obligation with Call of Duty, so we'll still fulfill that. But once that is done, next 10 years after on, bam, Call of Duty, only Xbox. So long. Sayonara. Adios. Do widzenia. Kululimpa. Other companies, only on Xbox. If that's the play they want to have, and you can only get Minecraft 2 on Xbox, and all those other games that I mentioned, the next Doom, everything, then you're going to be a powerhouse. You'll sell fewer games. You won't do as well in Japan. You won't do as well in Europe. It's going to take some time to earn back America's own trust when they see PlayStation as more and more powerful than Xbox, and Nintendo more and more capable and powerful now too, especially being this first-party powerhouse machine and third-party powerhouse machine. But if they go that route going forward, it could be a way that Microsoft bounces back a decade from now. You know, they're in a different place than they are now. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But wouldn't it be wild if they did? Then you have the three fighting each other again. Then you've got none of this, oh yeah, we're going to give you our Gears of War. Okay, cool. And oh, thanks for letting us have, Helldivers. No. Gears of War, only on us. Halo, Forza, only on us. Then you buy an Xbox for these exclusives and these third parties. You buy a PlayStation for these exclusives and these third parties. Or maybe the PlayStation games also go to PC or Steam Deck or something a little bit later. You buy a Nintendo for these third parties and these exclusives. And it's that way again. I wouldn't mind that in some ways, you know? Costco is a great way to avoid $10 Nintendo slaps on what should be $10 games cheaper. Pro Controller might be the best legit controller ever played. Yeah, it's a fantastic controller. I feel like Nintendo is doing this only because of the Switch 2 sales, so we might need another Wii U situation just for Nintendo release bangers. I don't think so. Nintendo Switch development, you got to realize this. Wii U was growing pains because that was their first HD system. Everybody else was developing HD content and realized how much more resources it takes to develop games for high res. Starting in like 2004, Nintendo didn't learn until 2010 because Wii U came out in 2012. Xbox 360 came out 2005. PlayStation 3 came out in 2006. So 2004 is when these third parties and Microsoft and Sony were already experimenting with higher res files. Nintendo 2010 for Wii U's 2012 release. So Nintendo Switch, they were much better equipped with 1080p games. Nintendo Switch lasted so long to allow Nintendo to catch up to 4K, because what happened with 4K development? You had these other companies investing in 4K development longer. Nintendo wasn't as unprepared for 4K transition as they were with 1080p, like Wii U. No, because Nintendo Switch lasted longer than Wii did. You know, that helped out Nintendo. But it still means Nintendo's got to take longer time to develop these big games. So they're cooking. They're not resting on their laurels. This is not Nintendo being complacent and not trying hard. This is trying to manage the best third party that they can and work on the first party at the same time. I don't know, Switch 2 sales are currently strong. It's already outsold Wii U, but Nintendo does need a heavy hitter. Yeah, they'll get them. Who is hyped for Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition? Should be good. 007 looks ambitious. Outdoor driving sequences will be interesting how it runs on Switch 2. Yeah. DK is a major game, but not the same commercial as the 3D Mario. True. Still sold like 750,000 units in the holiday season. Almost 750,000. Hopefully it sells another like 500,000 between January 1st and March 31st, but we'll see. Many think Iwata passing away was the worst thing that could have happened for Nintendo. That was a very sad, traumatic, unexpected thing that I really wish did not happen. But I gotta say, console-wise, Nintendo Switch has been peak Nintendo. Operating on all cylinders, you know. And it looks like this NS2 generation will be comparable. Probably fewer releases, but I think overall it will be an even stronger generation thanks to the third-party support going up. So where Nintendo's first-party output goes down a little bit in quantity, you'll see comparable quality. That won't change, but a rise up in third-party, and that's going to help. The difference should be met. For some, Nintendo Switch might still at the end of the day be the best system ever of Nintendo's, and for some, Nintendo Switch 2 might surpass it. And for some, might be neither, you know, that's okay. Yeah, it's in Nintendo's best interest to develop bangers and great games. Yep. A sales decrease won't impact Nintendo's output. Slow sales might impact their pricing. That's mostly it. Yeah. Dang, this is a good conversation. I might have to come back for a second stream. I've got to go. I feel like, gosh, we were really hitting it good. For sure, tomorrow morning I'll be back. I will try to come back later today for more. If I do, Corey Boehm's $5 super chat will carry on into the next stream, and we will start off there towards our goal. And if I come back tomorrow, it'll be brand new. But thank you all so much for being here for now. We got 35 watching and 31 likes, so I'm grateful for that. There's a new short up on the channel. Countdown to Pokemon. February 23rd. 4 days until the 30th anniversary celebration of Pokemon. Pokemon Presents. If anybody wants to check it out, there it is. There'll be another short that goes up later. So, my hope is that I'll come back today for a second stream, but I'll definitely be back tomorrow morning. All right? But thank you again, once again, all of you for being here. Corey Boehm for the generous $5 super chat. And everybody talking, you know? No problem having different opinions. No problem wanting more, wanting less, agreeing with me, disagreeing with me, agreeing with some parts, thinking, no, we need more on the other part, liking a game as much as I like the game, not liking a game as much. It's all good, you know? It's all fun, thought-provoking conversations. That's what we have here. Just keeping it real. Nobody is necessarily ever right or wrong. There are some stats that could tell you you're right or wrong, but opinions are very broad. And I think if you have a good foundation of knowledge and experiencing things overall and have been around a while, then your opinion means more, right? If someone just comes in, and nobody does this, if someone just comes in and drops a Nintendo sucks and leaves, that person's got zero opinion, zero credibility, not even bothering with them. But everybody here, you all care. You all matter. All of your thoughts are valid, regardless of whether they're different or not. I'm just using this platform of mine to keep my thoughts, you know? But all right, I'll be back either later today or tomorrow.